So, I want to introduce you to InPatient Sim, a simulated EPR system designed specifically for healthcare simulation and healthcare education. This video is going to walk you through the functionality of it. But before I start, I want to explain why is this in the first place and why we made it with MXR, the developers. Over time, customers started vocalizing real-world issues about their current solutions or method of training. One of the issues raised was the inflexibility, the difficulty of making updates, correcting content, or adding new features. And the other issue was responsiveness and making changes quickly. And when I was told how much they were paying for their current solution, I nearly fell off my chair. So we decided to do something different. We wanted to build a system that was flexible, community-driven, and affordable to all providers of healthcare education and stimulation, and not just a select few. One of the key things we added was a built-in feedback facility. That means users can tell us directly what works, what doesn't, and what they want to do next. We're actively using the feedback to update and add new features as we go, with a major update every 8 weeks. In reality, you, the users, are shaping the direction of the system, how it evolves, and ultimately where the story ends. So let me show you how it works. The dashboard page, which is available for the faculty, admin, and there's also a dashboard page for the students, is going to become more important the more you use InPatient Sim. It's going to give you some great metrics on the patients that you have been using within your scenarios. And as you use it more and more, there will be more features that will be added over time. So you can do some proper analytics about how you're using InPatient Sim. Within the dashboard, I can click on the total users and we can bring up a list. So these are all the people that have been assigned roles in this account for InPatient Sim. So add another user, click on add user. We require a first name, a last name, the creation of a username, an email address, and a password. You can even drop an image down here if you want to. At this point, you must then decide whether they're faculty, observer, or student. Let's jump to the patient list. This is a list of all the patients that you have created on InPatient Sim. Over here is a list of public patients. When you create a patient on InPatient Sim, you can decide whether it's a public or private patient. If it's a public patient, it means that everybody on the InPatient Sim network, all the institutions and users can access it. At the top of your patient list, you will see the Generate with AI button. To create a new patient, click the button. You have to select the gender, the age group, ethnicity, nationality, UK in this case. Decide whether it's for public or private use. The department, critical care, the room, intensive care in this case, speciality, cardiovascular, and the condition we will choose is acute heart failure. Once a patient has been generated, you can then review that patient to make sure that it fits your needs for the scenario that you want to do. If you wish to keep this patient, tick the box and save the selected patient. Now the patient has been saved, this patient will appear at the top of your list. You can see here, this is a private patient only for the consumption of your organization. We can view that patient and we can edit that patient. So if there's anything that you wish to change, With regards to this patient, you can change it after it has been generated. Within your admin or faculty logins, you can access the full list of patients. So all your patients that you've created, but down here, you have a full list of public patients. The public patients are patients that your peers have created but have made public, so anybody within the inpatient sim community can use those patients for their simulation scenarios. This means you're going to have greater access to more patients. And it also really helps with the community spirit of the software, because we do have some universities that are uploading patients that specifically fit into curriculums that are used across the country. For instance, mental health. It really does show the community spirit of inpatient sim that I hope will grow. Here's a quick summary of what you can add to the patient notes, just like a real EPR system with inpatient sim. When you open up a patient, you will get some general information about that patient. The student will get a much redacted version of this. General information includes clinical information, social and medical background, equipment and tests that might be needed within the scenario, observations, and of course, the diagnosis and treatment, which the student won't see. In the patient notes, you can add patient notes at any time. So the faculty or admin could preload this patient with some notes. And then during this scenario, the student can add notes themselves. You can drop files here. So if you have any GIF files, for instance, perhaps a full cycle of a cardiac ultrasound, you can drop it here. Or you can just drop in a PDF, a Word document, or any image document. You can add observations. Observations can be added prior to the scenario by the faculty. They can even do an AI-generated observation. This means it makes it easier to quickly populate the observation charts prior to a scenario. But of course, the students can add observations throughout the entire scenario. There is also an option to add a fluid balance chart. So you can add information about what was given to that patient during the scenario, or as I said before, prior to the scenario, the faculty or admin could add some information about fluids given. You can request investigations. Again, this can be done prior to the scenario to preload this patient with some information for the student to read during this scenario. But during this scenario, the student can order a test at any time. And we have the investigation reports already in there for that particular patient and any images or information that was already preloaded. And now more recently, you can add prescriptions. So the prescription chart is fully editable. On the student screen, we can now see on their dashboard the list of patients. And if we go to the next page here, we can see our new patient has been added. That student can now view that patient any time. The information they get of the patient is much redacted from what the faculty or admin might see. But any time they can add a patient note, observations, request investigations, see investigation reports, or add prescriptions. This session is not live yet, but this can be updated even out of a live session. On the student page, they can in fact look at all the public patients or any patient that they've been assigned. So if they want to go back and look at a previous case that might had some added observations or some added notes, the student can do that at any time. Now it's time to assign our patient to a user. If we go to the User tab, click on Assign, you can see our latest patient that's been generated is now on the available patients list. Go to Add, and update the users list by clicking Assign Patients. Within a session, a student can order investigations at any time. All you have to do is click on the correct patient, go to View, Request an investigation, and whether it's a blood test, radiology, microbiology, or an ECG, a student can request whatever they want. I'll send this over for a magnesium request. Also, multiple investigations can be ordered at the same time. So if I wanted to order an X-ray of the chest and the abdomen and the pelvis, it's possible to do. And let's add an ECG as well. When a student orders an investigation, the faculty will get an audible ping. The faculty can then go to investigations and look at the number of investigations that have been ordered for this session. In this case, Oliver Evans, and we can view what investigation was ordered. Here we see magnesium, and here we can apply a value for magnesium. If we wish to write some notes, we can. And then we can send back either instantly, schedule when it's sent back. So if we're doing a ward session, we could even put it to the next day, or we can delay it by the amount of minutes we want to for the session, push it back to the student for results. When a student requests investigations for a patient, they might have requested multiple tests for the same patient. In this case, we're going to look at Oliver Evans, go to View, and we can see that both ECG and radiology requests have been made. If I click on the ECG here, we can add a file to this ECG if we want. If you only want to add one file, you can do. So we can just upload it into any particular area here. For instance, the heart rate. We can select an ECG file from our database or from your desktop. That file is a report here. You can add further notes, and that can be pushed straight away. Now we've got the radiology ones here, and we can see everything has been requested it here. So if I just went to a chest X-ray, we could upload a chest X-ray We could put some measurements in there or notes. This is where it becomes really, really important for radiology students as well as nursing or medical students. If we don't want to put any investigation results in here, we can just add a file, again, just by clicking on here. Let's go to X-rays. And we can add a chest X-ray. And again, we can send it over instantly, schedule it, or put a small delay for it to be sent over. In this case, we will send it instantly. One of the new but very cool features on InPatient Sim is the ability to create wards. We can add a ward, call it ICU. Select the patients from our created patient list that we want on that ward. Up to the 12 patients can be added. Selected a faculty member. We can add an observer, but that's optional. Assign it to students. Up to 4 students can be looking after a ward at any time. And create the ward. This ward now appears in our list, which we can view at any time. And the students can be assigned to specific patients on the list. We believe that the most important tab within the software is the feedback tab. This is a community-led project. So if you have any ideas about how we can improve this software, please use the feedback tab, whether you're a student, admin, or faculty. The admin dashboard has a few more features. You can look at the total number of users, total patients that have been used within this account. Of course, you've got all your information as before with regard to the demographics of your patients. And down here, we can see if there are any active sessions running. Thank you everyone for watching this video on InPatient Sim, the simulated EPR system, which is a collaboration between MXR and a simulation collective. If you would like to find out more about InPatient Sim or start your free 30-day trial, why not get in contact with us on hellohester@simulationcollective.com or go to the website www.simulationcollective.com. You can also have your chance to give your opinion to help improve this community-led project.